So I feel like me talking about Spirited Away in the previous episode definitely has inspired me to talk more about anime like on this podcast. I don't feel like I do it like enough. Like the only time I'm really talking about anime, I feel like, is when I'm writing, like literally on my Substack. I'll do like anime themes from time to time because it's like I always do want to do that. Like I think I tried to do discussions about anime and both K-dramas because they're both important, and I feel like it's obviously aside from like TV shows and like movies, of course. But then I feel like obviously you can rope anime and K-dramas into TV shows. But anyways, this episode's really going to be about anime movies that aren't Studio Ghibli. It's kind of like when I was thinking about this episode, I was like half asleep last night, and when I was thinking about this episode, I was like, actually, this episode's pretty much of a challenge, but also not, because of course I love animated stuff. Like in general, like I love anime. I love anime films. I was like, then again, it's not too difficult. It's because last night, like probably at like 1 a.m., right? I was writing my list and I was like, then it had House Movie Castle on there, and I was like, no, because I'm trying to make this list be excluding Studio Ghibli. And then I was like to myself, because I've obviously just spoke about Spirited Away, I was like, we're doing those Studio Ghibli ones separately. Like, I think I wrote on my list House Moving Castle. And then I was like, oh, but no, we're going to be doing House Moving Castle like separately and individually. Like, it's not in this. And I was like, of course, House Moving Castle is one of my favorite anime films, like of all time. Like, do you know what I mean? If I had to say of all time, it would be House Moving Castle would be on there. But this is me wanting to like, yeah, give flowers to other like people who make animated films, because like obviously we know that Hayao Miyazaki is like, I don't know, his collection of Studio Ghibli films are astounding. Like they're astounding, they're amazing. Like there's like, I guess for me, I'm like, there's enough also that I haven't seen, but his work is great. So I was like to myself, yeah, his work is great, but there's also other films. I think for this episode, I'm going to be using my letterbox list, because while I was lying down, I was like, obviously I watch these films, but I don't really know. Although I think I did, when I was writing the list, I think I did come up with some that I don't actually even need to look at the list for. But then I also need to, I guess, no, I do need to just do just a little check. But I feel like aside from that, it was like, I think on my list I had one, Suzume. I had, which obviously I'm just listing them off now, but of course I'm gonna go into detail of them. Then Bubble, my Oni Girl, my Oni Girl, and I think that was it. So I only listed 3. So I was like to myself, then there was 2 others that I used to fill out. But I think from the top of my head, I was thinking of Satoshi Kon, and I was also thinking about Akira as well. So that is obviously what's on the cards for today, and this episode. Like, do you know what I mean? It's on the cards, and that is what we will be discussing. Yeah. So like I said, I'll be going through my list of my favorites, and then we'll be discussing like other. But it's like other, because I feel like other is just like recommendations. So yeah, and there's a lot of those. Of course, I mentioned Satoshi Kon, and I was like, he has great films. Like, when I think about, yeah, like he's probably basically the only other anime like director that I know other than Miyazaki, to be honest. So yeah, like one of his films is on this list, but we'll get there when we get there. Cross that bridge when we get to it, right? And then I think I'll talk about Satoshi Kon a little bit, like just a tad, just a little bit at the very end though. But let's begin actually. Let's get the bar rolling. And we are starting off with Suzume. Suzume. Oh, I love that film. I think Suzume came out in Suzume, I actually went to go and see this film in the cinemas. Yeah, 2022. I went to go see Suzume in the cinemas, and I actually. No, I was gonna say, did I rewatch that again? No, no, no. My bad, scratch that. I didn't. What happened was I was at an anime event and I was rewatching Your Name. Yeah, I was watching Your Name. So yeah, I'll talk about Your Name a little bit as well. We'll just also add it to the list of others. So, but anyways, back on the subject of Suzume. So I really liked Suzume. Like obviously, like I don't know what's so great about Suzume. The whole door thing, and then like her love interest turns into a chair, and then I don't know. I feel like this film is just a lot of like it's a lot of discovery. That's what is also good about it. It's also a lot of discovery. So yeah, it's a lot of discovery. Oh yeah, sorry. Before I forget, do you know sometimes I do that? Like, you know, when it's like I'm doing podcast episodes with you guys, and it's like I'll be like, oh my god, I'm gonna go back here, and then I don't go back. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna go back, and then I don't go back. And you guys probably thinking, you said you'd go back, and then you didn't go back. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot. So it says, as the skies turn red and the planet trembles, Japan stands on the brink of disaster. However, a determined teenager named Suzume sets out on a mission to save her country. Able to see supernatural forces that others cannot, it's up to her to close the mysterious doors that are spreading chaos across the land. A perilous journey awaits as the fate of Japan rests on her shoulders. And you know what? Like, if I think about it then, Suzume and Your Name probably just do have similarities in terms of that whole, like, what's it called? Catastrophic thing. Like, just in terms of, like, oh, the world on the brink of danger, and that character the characters in the film, they're the only ones that can stop it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nobody else, but it's only them. But yeah, and Suzume has so much layers to it. Like I said, there's the guy she meets, and he's like, what is it? He's like some doorkeeper. Like he called himself a doorkeeper, or no, portal key guy. Yeah, he does this thing where he obviously closes the door or things like close the portal door so it doesn't like spread out onto Japan, and that it doesn't like pull down the world that they're currently in. And then she meets him, and then what happens is he becomes a chair. And then you also have the cat. She's like, Suzume. Oh, I was like, all that cat wanted to do, I swear, all that cat wanted to do, like, that cat was mischievous. But then actually the cat, yeah, the cat played a huge factor into the film, that's what I will say. I was like, wait, I was about to spoil, but then I was like, no. But yeah, so the cat plays a huge factor in the film. And then, yeah. I just think, like, Suzume is just, like, I don't feel like it's like, you know, sometimes people feel like anime films that sometimes, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I don't know. I sometimes feel like the anime community is sometimes hard to please. And then I'm like, sometimes they don't want films that are just, like, you know, just nothing. They want films that are showing, showing constant... showing constant turmoil. Sorry. But you know, on the whole of anime, yes, as a subject, and as anime movies as a subject, sorry, they are very sad a lot of the time. Like, I think about the fact that most of these films on this list, they all have some kind of, like, I don't know, some kind of problem, some kind of issue. Do you know what I mean? It's not even a thing where it's like, oh, it's an easygoing... Like, these films are easygoing. Because I was even going to put Ride Your Wave on this list, right? That's also probably other, right? I was going to put Ride Your Wave on this list. And then I was like, no, because Ride Your Wave is sad. And if I can help it, I said, if I can help it, I will not be watching it again. Like, you guys think I'm joking. but I can't. I literally can't. If you've seen Ride Your Wave, you know why. So, yeah. Because, with Ride Your Wave, yeah, it's like you thought to yourself, oh, this was just going to be a nice little film with two people who like surfing. We were like, okay, everything's going to be fine. No, it's not, actually. We were like, no, it's not going to be all right. So, yeah, I was like, okay, that's cool. I thought actually, I thought I was in for a good ride, but obviously not. Anyways, the next film after that is actually Bubble, which came out in 2022. But when I was on here, I was looking on Google, and then I just realized there's so many other films that I haven't seen, which I need to watch. Anime movies. Of course, I'm only discussing ones that yes, I'm only discussing ones that I have seen so far. And obviously, yeah, this is my favorite list. But anyways, let me talk about Bubble. So Bubble came out in 2022, and so obviously it says Bubble's about gravity defying bubbles rain down, cutting off Tokyo from the rest of the world. The city skyline becomes a playground for young people competing in parkour team battles. Hibiki plummets into the sea, but is saved by a girl with mysterious powers. I don't even think I'd watch Bubble ever again. Like, that's the craziest thing. You guys are like, wait, aren't I supposed to be recommending this to you? I am, don't worry. But I'm just like, yeah, Bubble's really sad. And even when I watched Bubble, I was really upset. I think I did cry, actually. I was like, I think I did cry. I think. Because, yeah, I liked Utah. I think the girl is Yuta, right? Yuta saves Hibiki when he has an accident. Because, yeah, it's a whole, like, the film is also great, like, aside from the whole bubble thing, because it's supposed to be about bubbles, and how bubbles are temporary and nothing lasts forever. But aside from all of that, though, there is that whole parkour aspect, and like them doing parkour and just going all around the place, and then and then Hibiki falls into the ocean, and then she saves him. And then I think also, yeah, Bubble reminds us, like I said, that nothing lasts forever, and like a bubble, things can pop and be gone in an instant. If nothing lasts forever, I guess the whole point of the story is to urge us to live without inhibitions, basically, which is true. Because exactly, like, the film is sad because, yes, Uta's supposed to be a bubble, and then she disappears. Sorry. Sorry, I'm getting flashbacks. She basically disappears. But it was a life-changing film, though. I'll be honest. Bubble was a life-changing film. That's probably why it's one of my favorites. And it was produced by Wit Studio, and they're great. Like, do you know what I mean? When you think about anime studios, like Wit Studio, they are lovely. They are lovely. They are great. Like, what have they even done before? They did the recent Spy Family film. Did they do Great Pretender? Right, yeah, they did Great Pretender. Of course, they did Attack on Titan as well. They also did After the Rain. I really liked that anime as well. I don't know if you really talk about that anime, but I really did like that one. So of course, yes, Bubble. And then they also obviously did The Girl from the Other Side, which I will dive into, but basically at close to the end, because that's going to be in the others. So yeah, and so because I feel like when you think of anime production kind of companies, you're like, yeah, Wit Studio, Mappa, and all of those people. Do you know what I mean? Those are the studios, and Madhouse, and Cloverworks, and Ufotable as well. Well, like, those are the goats. Those are the top threes. But yes, those are really good. And with Bubble as well, and Bubble's a 15. Why? I'm like, why is Bubble at 15? Anyways, because it's heartfelt. It says in a nutshell, it's heartfelt, thrilling, and breathtaking. But I was like, what would make Bubble be a 15? by the way. Like, what would be? Tell me why. Like, it's supposed to be a really, like, cute, emotional film. That's what I'm saying. So I was like, why would it be, why would it be a 15? And basically its genre is sci-fi action. But I was just wondering. I was just like, why though? So I was like, why is it doing that? So, and I kind of want to see what they say about the reviews, about Bubble. Right? Oh, someone gave it 5, and this was actually the best anime I've actually watched. It was life-changing, has mentally and physically changed me in ways I can't even explain. The animation was incredible. My eyes will never have the joy of seeing this animation again, or anything even close. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, every time I think about the fact that, like, yeah, Miyazaki is right. Animation is beautiful. If anyone tells you that it's not, they're wrong. Okay? They're just wrong. Like, it's just gorgeous, basically. And like, it's gorgeous. And especially, yes, because especially like Bubble in particular, because how the person touched on the animation in Bubble is gorgeous, because obviously you have all of the, because yeah, it says it has very nice animation. The animators are quite proud of their parkour animation, which they show for about 70% of the rundown. And the soundtrack gets a mention as well, as it was a unique and Medullus in its own way. The cinematography was amazing, capturing the parkour sport effectively. So this is what I'm saying. Like, yeah. And exactly, the two main thing about Bubble is its animation and the music. No lies. Oh, okay. Of course, and the parkour. So we'll say three things. Animation, music, parkour is giving. I think I love, like, if I was to listen to one song, is what's it called? Uta to Hibiki. So it's supposed to be the main theme in the film. And yeah, take me back. Like, I'm like, right now, I'm like, take me back to when I first watched Bubble. I would even rewatch it. But then as I said, as I just said a moment ago, I can't like make myself do it, because I'm actually gonna cry. I'm actually gonna get upset. You guys heard me already. I was having flashbacks. I was remembering watching it, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I watched that. Like, literally, I said, I can't believe that I watched that, and it made me so sad. It made me so sad. And I even think after I finished watching it, I also sat in the sadness. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, even when a film finishes you and you're like, yeah, that was life-changing, and I don't know, I don't know if I can do that again. I don't know if I can do that again. But yeah, to recommend it, yes. But to live through it a second time, no. Like, yeah, I just think sometimes movies are one-time experiences, and that's what makes cinema so gorgeous. Like, you experienced a good film, but if you're gonna watch it again, maybe not. Anyways, on to the next, because I was like, I don't want to talk about Bubble anymore, because it's gonna upset me. The next film is My Oni Girl, or My Oni. Yeah, this one is recent. It came out last year. So, yeah. And I found this one really interesting. On the surface, like, with My Oni Girl, I kind of thought it was mostly just going to be, yes, about this girl who has, like, because she's got, like, some kind of, she got a horn? Yeah, she's supposed to be some kind of supernatural kind of thing, and then what it is that, so she's an Oni girl, yes, and her name, but she comes to the human world to search for her mother, and snow falls, and their adventure begins. But, like, more so, like, the Oni girl has more layers to it than that, because there's also supposed to be, like, it's supposed to also touch on, like, emotions as well, like the fact that Hirigo, like Hirigi, like he struggles to make friends. And then what it is that you can get the horn by what's it called? You can get the horn right, exactly. I've just found it. The horn is a defined feature of her Oni identity and is visible throughout the film. While the horn is a common representation of Oni in Japanese folklore, it is presented in a more gentle and less menacing way in this movie. Tsumugi's horn, along with her other features like her fur, is a visual representation of her otherworldly nature, differentiating from her humans. And then what else? Because I wanted to find out a bit that it explains. Yeah, so what I was looking for was the fact that, yes, I was talking about how this film mainly is the fact that, yes, what's her name is an Oni girl, which is some kind of like supernatural entity, but that also, like, his hopelessness makes a small horn out of his head, basically. So, yeah, it's his hopelessness, and that obviously, yes, it's a refreshing coming of age drama. And yes, so he struggles to fit in with his peers and fails to be more than just a helping hand to rely on. However, Hiragi's shining quality brings him across a lovely Tsumugi, and Hiragi is unable to defy his kind and helping nature, which often lands him in uncomfortable situations, whether it is being left to keep the gym alone, not being able to perform the role of a fake boyfriend properly. So yeah, I think when she meets him, he's supposed to be some kind of people pleaser, right? And then he realizes that yes, that's a part of his nature. And then it says the fact that he can't help but not turn a blind eye to people makes him depressed, which is why he thinks twice before helping Tsumugi. And then, yeah. And then Hiragi is rather a dull soul who keeps his feelings bundled up, and Tsumugi is a free spirit with no filter. And that's why there's this thing in the film where his emotions kind of spout some kind of like bubble thing, like some kind of like energy where it was like it comes off of him because he yeah, so exactly. So he's leaking mini bubble like Oni because he keeps his feelings bottled up. He becomes self-conscious and even upset, and that she tells him the more he expresses his emotions, the closer he'll get turning into an Oni himself. And then what started as a seamless, harmless adventure turns into an emotional battle where both Hiragi and Tsumugi are put to the test and forced to confront their unresolved feelings. So yeah. Right. But as I said, like, this film is good. Like, I feel like, and I think it's made in collaboration with not Studio Ghibli, but Studio Colorido. So, and then they're the people who also made Drifting Home, which is obviously a film I'm also going to discuss later on. And yeah, and I think it's just those kind of films that they make, which is kind of films that are basically about, about like compelling twists and like friendship and love and expression, and also obviously journey, self-discovery, acceptance. And yes, and not bottling up feelings, but letting them out, which is obviously what Hiragi, like, yeah, he comes to terms with, because obviously Tsumugi is the one that's able to bring that out of him, because he's realizing he has been like that most of his life, but after meeting her, he's had to change his ways. It's funny because a lot of these anime films is not even like, of course sometimes they're recommended to me, but I'm not even always, I'm not even always sorting them out. Yeah, like, that's not even a thing like that. I think what usually happens is, even like my Oni Girl, and I forget, like, probably Suzume as well. Yeah, so like Bubble and Suzume, I think, like, they were both, I came across them on YouTube, sorry, actually. Like, I'll see lots of anime movie trailers, and then that's how I find them. And then usually what happens is a lot of them are on like, yeah, like there's like, even I guess Bubble's Netflix. My Oni Girl is also Netflix. And then I swear Suzume is not Netflix. It's who's Suzume by again? Like, it's by like, I think, isn't it by the people who created? Yeah, like I said, it's about the people. It's from the people who created Your Name. So yeah, yeah. I think, didn't this person? Yeah, exactly. He's a director who made Your Name. Yeah, and I think with this director, yeah, Makoto Shinkai, if I probably had to pick a favorite from his works, it probably would be the Garden of Words. Oh, but then obviously also Suzume, but like, I meant one that's not like one that's not been mentioned here so far. So there's so many of his though, and I feel like I need to watch like more of them, but they're all very good. I think, I'm not sure, I don't know if I watched 5 centimeters per second. If I didn't, I need to nonetheless. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, even if I didn't watch it, I need to. So yeah, I also want to watch The Girl Who Leapt Through Time as well. I think, is that also by him? No, it's not. By somebody else. Mamoru Hosoda. And I think, okay, he made, like, Mamoru Hosoda made Belle and, like, Wolf Children and The Boy and the Beast, and Mirai. And I wanted to watch Mirai as well. I don't know where you can watch Mirai. Okay, there's not actually where you can watch Mirai. But I think, oh, yes, I think I might have even... That was the film that I voted for to watch at the anime event I was at. I wanted to watch that film because I'd never seen it before. I didn't hate that we were watching Suzume though, because obviously Suzume is one of my favorites, but I think I wanted to watch Mirai because I've never seen it before. And there's actually so many anime films that I haven't seen. I feel like even maybe after I finish this episode, I'm gonna go on a search for some, and I just want to see where there is ones that I can watch. But anyways, yeah, so now we're moving on to Her Blue Sky. I obviously recently watched Her Blue Sky, like not too long ago actually. I feel like it might be like, I mean, it came out 2019. I didn't watch it then, but I think I watched it like just recently. I just need to check that. I watched Her Blue Sky like last year in November, which was great. I really enjoyed it. Because obviously, like, the thing about Her Blue Sky was really interesting because it was like, so, her sister was in love with this guy, who was in a band, and then obviously, I wanted to say, oh, he died, but he didn't actually die. He didn't die. It's like his high school body remained, like, in the place where they used to practice. And it was the type of thing where I feel like he had unfinished business, I feel like, and that's why his body remained there forever. And he also didn't probably like the way that his future body was living. I mean, like, he didn't like what he had amounted to. And I guess the fact that he wasn't with like Oi's sister, he wasn't with Akane, who was his girlfriend, that he probably felt like he failed. Like, I guess he felt like he failed as an adult. And then I think, obviously, Ao, she really liked, the what's it called? She liked the younger version of him because, I mean, of Shino. Because, they both had, they had, like, something both in a feature in their eyes, and I think she looked up to him probably when she was younger. And we all know what that's like. I'm joking.
I'm kidding, but I'm just like, like the fact that she was basically having a crush on her sister's boyfriend, well, because he was a guy in a band, basically. And that's why I'm just like, I get it, but I think it's weird. But yeah, because it's like, so high school season, Io lives with her elder sister Akane after a tragic accident took their parents away 13 years ago. Because Akane has been taking care of her single-handedly, Io wants to move to Tokyo after graduation to relieve her sister's burden and pursue a musical career inspired by Akane's ex-boyfriend Shino. And Shino was part of a band until he left for Tokyo to become a professional guitarist after sister's parents passed away, and he was never to be seen again. Yeah. That review is funny. It says a love triangle, but they are 4 people, but actually they are 3. Well, unless you count the 5th, but 2 of them are the same person, so it'll be 4. Wait, but the father makes 6. That review is hilarious. I agree. This was someone talking about how if years later I could see the younger version of myself, what would she tell me? Would she be proud or disappointed? The anime is a perfect mixture of realism and surrealism. Merging reality with fantasy is an important element here. We can even say it's its ultimate goal considering the ending. The anime may not be a masterpiece, but there are several things in it that deserve our admiration and cognition. That its stunning graphic work with its unbelievable details which led to a flawless magical realism work, and of course the message it was trying to send. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think the message it was trying to send, what's it called? Yeah, the message it was trying to send was about past versions of yourself, basically. And I feel like for all of them, even Io, who obviously was she was the youngest out of all of them, and the only reason why she was even wanting to do a musical career is because she was hanging out with them when she was a child, and so she was like, oh, when I grow up I'm gonna play the guitar as well. We said, yeah, I'm also going to be a guitarist. And then it was the thing where I guess, I don't know, her sister was like, why do you want to be a guitarist? Like, you're gonna remind me of my ex-boyfriend. That's gross. But let it go. Do you know what I mean? So oh, the one I was just reading was actually not a good review. But then not too bad. I mean, the one I was just reading was it was 3. I gave it a 3. I love it though when people do reviews that feel very what's the word? Personal. This person was talking about how I think the review I came across, they were talking about all the stuff that people usually don't mention in letterbox reviews. It feels like on Letterboxd people just kind of would say, oh yeah, I liked this film, I didn't like this film. But it's interesting because people don't like to, I don't know. In a way, I'm like, people don't like to be vulnerable, then say more about their review than they should. You know what I mean? I think it's interesting if we say on reviews, I watched this film with my gran and her dog, you know what I mean? And I was like, we want to know that, dive in deeper. But then I know that people don't always necessarily have the time for that. Plus they also don't want to share all of that. So yeah. Yeah. And I think, because no, exactly, like the person said, I do think that, yes, the main theme is past versions. And the fact that, like I said, the younger Shino was disappointed with how he'd ended up. And then it was like, oh, if you met younger you, what would you tell the younger you? Would you say, yeah, would you be happy with where you've ended up? And it's just like, probably. But actually, I want to check something. I want to say what What is the message? So, right, it says here, Her Blue Sky explores the theme of regret and the impact of choices made in the face of difficult circumstances, particularly in the context of a young person's dreams being sacrificed for the well-being of a sibling. The film examines how these choices, though driven by love, can lead to long-term emotional consequences and the complexities of reconciling past regrets with future aspirations. That's quite fair. That is quite fair because obviously I think that's to do with how Akane, her older sister, probably felt like she couldn't go with Shino. I think, yeah, that's basically what happens in the film. She blames her sister a lot. Or, well, yeah, Akane blames Ao for her not being able to probably go off with him because she was looking after Ao, and then because after their parents dying, I feel like it dives into and probably explores like the responsibility, the burden it can be for like an older sibling, and all of like and everything like that. And that I guess, yeah, I think I remember when I was watching it, I feel like our and her sister had a very difficult relationship, but then I feel like it kind of like fluctuated and improved, I guess, like afterwards when she kind of brought back, yeah, when she kind of brought like had gave I mean her sister and Shino a reunion. So I feel like that kind of helped excuse me repair their like their relationship and stuff in it. So yeah. And then last but not least, the last film is Paprika, because obviously I mentioned Satoshi Kon earlier already, and yeah, he has great films in general, but I would say that if I had to choose a favorite out of all of his films, it would be Paprika, because obviously Paprika just has all these layers, and I guess Paprika also, and I think, is it true, like I think it is true, sorry, not is it true, like it's true that Paprika inspired Inception, because they used a lot of the scenes from Paprika in Inception. I think probably like, what was the scene that they used, where like the floor was moving, but like obviously there Paprika just has a lot of different like things happening in it, and like it's sort of out there, like it's like to really explain Paprika, it's like, what would you really say? You know, what would you really say? It's a good film, but what would you say? So it's a thriller and it's a sci-fi, and that it says a Dr. Tusko Chiba works as a scientist by day, and under the code name Paprika is a dream detective at night. Atsuko and her colleagues are working on a device called the DC Mini, which is intended to help psychiatric patients, but in the wrong hands, it could destroy people's mind. When a prototype is stolen, Atsuko says Paprika springs into action to recover it before damage is done. Right, because I feel like Paprika, obviously, yeah, was the doctor. And they say that it's a animation, horror, action, science fiction, psychological thriller, adventure, and mystery. And that basically only a female therapist, Paprika, can stop it. But Paprika's very like, yeah, it's hard to explain anyways. It is very hard to explain, but I do like it. I like that it's hard to explain, you know, it's very out there. Yeah, it's very out there. I think I was looking at scenes of it. But yes, Paprika is very hard to explain. When I think about it, like, let me see, but say deeper. Paprika, deeper meaning. So the character Paprika represents the exploration of dreams, the blurring of reality and fantasy, and the potential for personal growth through facing one's subconscious. Paprika embodies the repressed desires and interests of Dr. Chiba, a more playful and optimistic version of herself, while also functioning as a metaphor for the power of art and the creative process. Paprika explores how dreams can be a reflection of our subconscious and can offer insights into our waking lives. The film uses the dream world as a way to explore the characters' inner turmoil and repressed desires. And the film also reflects on the nature of cinema itself. The film's visual style and dream sequences invoke the power of cinema to create immersive experiences and explore the human psyche. You know what I would compare Paprika to is actually Love, Death and Robots, which is coming back soon. Like, so much happens in Love, Death and Robots, and there are all so many different stories and installments, and who really knows what they're really about. But why I compare those two in particular, because obviously I feel like Love, Death and Robots and Paprika both have, like, it's realism and all about, like, the subconscious. I think it also says here that, Paprika uses the dream world as a space for personal growth and healing. Characters confront their inner demons and work through trauma, ultimately leading to greater self-awareness. Like, literally. Like, I feel like, because this is the thing, when I watch Love, Death, Robots, I'm like, it feels so real. Like, you can't really say, like, all that crazy. But Paprika is definitely another one. It's definitely another one that, like, there's definitely another one that's, like, it just has all of this kind of, like, stuff in it that makes you question things, you know what I mean? You're just like, are dreams real? Are they not? Walking through dreams, we're like, we don't really know. Because even how Paprika starts, actually, it's like, it's a thing where I think she was in the dream world. It's like the detective was. This is the thing with films, and I feel like even with Paprika, it's one of those films that, to discuss Paprika, we're like, what was this Paprika even about? And what does it mean to you? And I think people say, or I forgot who I was seeing something. I think it was Josh who played, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right? He was talking about 500 Days of Summer and how everyone has their different opinions about it. And just, of course, that's the greatest thing about cinema, is that people can have their own thing, like have their own views. And I feel like Paprika is one of those films too, because it's just obviously like, it's just like, oh, we don't really know, like, what does Paprika really signify to you? And what do you think that Paprika really means? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, yes, Paprika just is about, should we really, look more into our dreams? Should we really, dive into them and really say that we know, like should we really dive into them and say that whatever they are pretty true? So I don't know. It's a very, very deep it's a very deep film, I feel like. It's a very deep film. Question to the audience, what would you say, how would you really describe Paprika, and what does Paprika really make you think about, actually? Because I feel like I would be intrigued to know, because Paprika just is one of those films, and I think it's also like, it's the Holy Grail, I feel like, also. I meant in terms of like cinema and in terms of like Satoshi Kon. I think people will probably say two of Satoshi Kon's best films is probably either Paprika or Perfect Blue, either one. So obviously now we're now at the end where we're going to discuss other, but we're still, even when I said other, I'm not talking about any Studio Ghibli films, guys. I said that in the beginning. We're not doing it. Like, and talking about Studio Ghibli films, like I said, it feels too easy to do. if we talk about new ones, it's better. Obviously, I already mentioned Ride Your Wave, and I mentioned Your Name a little bit as well. But I think I should probably, with Your Name now, to talk more about, like, obviously what Your Name is actually about. Your Name obviously is like, I like that Your Name is like, I always think of Your Name as like Freaky Friday or something, because it's like, obviously it's a body swap is basically what happens. And it's a body swap of not even the same gender, but a guy and a girl swaps into their bodies, and then it's like, it's the kind of thing where they're in each other's bodies, and then it's like they don't know each other's names, but they were conversating with each other and leaving themselves messages, but then after that, like, after that, they don't really know. Yeah, like, I think that's very interesting about the film. Like, after that, they know that they each other have been in each other's bodies, but then they don't remember each other's names after it. But I do feel like, though, like, when I rewatched that film again, because I already watched it recently, but it was a thing where I was like, I do realize with this film that I don't feel like maybe it gives away much, or it, like, obviously gives you basically what you want. Like, I mean, of course it's a good film, and the animation is all good, but I just meant in terms of how, when I said about turmoil and I mentioned about chaos, I feel like, of course, Your Name has that a little bit, just in terms of like, the world might be on at the edge of extinction, all that kind of stuff. Like, it has that, but it's like, it doesn't really have anything else. I sometimes feel like, yeah, maybe it's a tiny bit of a slow burner. A lot of the others, like the ones we have mentioned in my list, the others in my list are more, what's it called? More outgoing, or more like stuff that will be like, oh, it's not like you're having a slow burn, that they are quite out there. Anyways, the next one discussed for others is Tokyo Avengers. Of course, I always think about Tokyo Avengers. Whenever I think of the word Tokyo, I'm always like Tokyo Avengers. But no, Tokyo Grandfathers. People say that Tokyo Grandfathers is quite a, I don't know, like, it's a festive film, but that could be debated. I guess the only reason why it's pretty much why it could be is because of what's it called? Because of, like, the fact that it is set in Christmas anyways. Like, yeah, it's set in the, what does it say here? It's set in the Christmas season. So yeah, because what happens is, the movie takes audiences on an emotional journey through the bustling streets of Tokyo during the Christmas season. With its compelling story and well-developed characters, Tokyo Grandfathers stands as a testament to Kon's exceptional storytelling ability. That the anime follows the lives of three unlikely companions who form an unconventional family unit: Hana, an ex-drag queen; Jin, a middle-aged alcoholic; and Miyuki, a runaway teenage girl, find themselves thrown together by fate after discovering an abandoned baby in a dumpster. As they embark on a quest to reunite the infant with its parents, the trio's personal struggles and poignant backstories are unveiled, making way for an emotional roller coaster that resonates deeply with the audience. Because it's true, they all had very much like complex backgrounds, and it was like, oh, none of these can look after a child, but they still tried to do so because it was Christmas and it was also winter, and they were like, how is this baby gonna survive all on its own? So it was a thing where they had to help where they had to help look after it until they were able to find the baby's rightful parents and home. So yeah, I feel like Satoshi Kon always does good with, like, he does good stories. So obviously it says Tokyo weaves a story. Wait, hold on. yeah, sorry. So that weaves a compelling storyline set, and that, yeah, motivated by compassion and a sense of responsibility, they embark on a challenge journey to rent the baby with its parents, and that they encounter various obstacles, each bringing to light their personal struggles and inner demons. And it keeps the audience engaged and emotionally invested in the character's face. And the Christmas setting adds an extra layer of warmth and significance to the story, emphasizing themes of love, redemption, and the spirit of giving. And right, one of the central themes explored in the anime is the idea of second chances and redemption. Each of the main characters is burdened by their past mistakes and regrets. As they care for the abandoned baby, they find an opportunity for personal growth and forgiveness. And the film also tackles the theme of family and the concept of finding kinship in unexpected places. And Hana, Jin, and Mizuki come from different walks of life, and highlighting the importance of human connections and support. Exactly. And the portrayal of LGBT characters, especially Hannah, offers a thoughtful exploration of gender identity and acceptance in Japanese society. And it's true because that bit in specific is very interesting, because of course they don't really talk about that, and I think sometimes they probably have problems with that. But I do feel like this film's quite of a look into that. Alongside its social commentary, the anime touched on the significance of hope and the resilience of the human spirit, despite facing seemingly insufferable about challenges. The character's determination to make a difference and create a better future shines through. Exactly. Yeah, Satoshi Kon's masterful storytelling weaves these themes together, resulting in a film that leaves a lasting emotional impact while delivering thought-provoking messages about life, love, and the human experience. And I think that is what Satoshi Kon tries to do. I mean, I feel like Paprika is more obviously on the fringes of more like, yeah, more exploration and like dreaming. Like obviously that's that one's theme, but then I feel like Tokyo Grand Godfathers is more so like, yeah, it's more so about family unit and more so about what's it called? More so about family unit and more so just about maybe the harshness of life also. What was it? Kon is renowned for his ability to create visually stunning worlds, and Tokyo Grandfathers is no exception. The intention to deal to on the man in the animation brings the bustling streets of Tokyo to life, immersing the audience in the city's atmosphere. This stars, but actually in Tokyo Godfathers, the emotional resonance transcends the boundaries of animation, offering a heartfelt narrative that stays with the audience long after the credits roll. The film's ability to evoke genuine emotion solidifies its place as a timeless masterpiece in the realm of anime. And I guess it does make you, yeah, like it does make you support these characters who come from harsh backgrounds and like they put their lives on the line to look after a baby. Is really interesting. So and I feel like also like I don't know, Tokyo Godfathers had a great like twist. Um while I'm on the topic obviously of Satoshi Kon right now still anyways, I hope to talk about the next one because obviously the one that's the next film that obviously is also in this list, but Millennium Actress. I really loved Millennium Actress at first. The first time I watched Millennium, I mean, not even at the first time, but yeah, no, during me watching it the first time, I didn't actually necessarily understand it all of the way. I didn't really get what it was about, or no, I knew what it was about because basically what happens is they talk to an actress who yeah, they talk to an actress who's like grown up now, and she's older, and that it tells the story obviously of a retired star who encounters what is it, yeah, of a star who like obviously has now who is like millennium, and then she's done so many different roles, but she's obviously retired. And so they just come to interview her in 30 years after her sudden retirement from the entertainment industry. And that it's two documentary filmmakers investigating the life of a retired acting legend. Yeah. I do like how this film goes on as well, but then sometimes I do feel like with Satoshi Kon's pacing, it can be a bit hard to follow at times. I think with this film in particular, I think I was confused with the pacing because obviously there were so many different roles that she had done that it was sometimes a bit hard to follow, and it was like so many different characters that they were taking you through as well. That was a bit like, oh, like I think I was like, oh, I didn't know really where it was heading up. But I did really like this film as well. Because obviously, oh yeah, it's produced by Madhouse. And as she tells in the story of her life, the borderline between cinema and reality gradually becomes blurred. Do you know what I mean? So I think it being blurred is actually supposed to like is what it's supposed to like happen. I guess I'm supposed to be confused in a way. But like literally I'm supposed to be confused. And I do like that, yeah, she's basically, and I guess in the whole film she's basically just on a mission of reuniting with this artist that she helped, and that she never forgets him either. And I guess he was the main thing that maybe pulled her out of her career. I feel like, I guess she was an actress, and I guess it was like she was playing so many different characters, and I guess that guy kind of maybe gave her a slice of mundane life, like not really just playing, because I guess I feel like with acting anyways, when you're playing a lot of characters, it can be probably a hard time to like remember you, and like, do you know what I mean, and be like, oh yeah, this is my personality. So I feel like that film obviously has a very good one. Anyway, last but not least, to kind of talk about, actually, just to wrap up, I was gonna touch on Akira. Akira. Sorry, I had to. It's a stem. It's a stem, so can't help it. So yeah, Akira is set is like a dystopian, and I really like that. Do you know what I mean? I liked the whole thing of Akira, and that, yeah, it's Neo Tokyo, it's futuristic. It's really giving cyber edge runners. But obviously Akira is before that. So was made in 1988, and it's an animated. So yeah, cyberpunk, like I said. I said cyberpunk edge runners, right? Yeah, cyberpunk edge runners, and that it tells the story of Satoru Kon, the leader of a biker gang, whose childhood friend acquires incredible telekinetic abilities after a motorcycle accident, eventually threatening an entire military complex and chaos rebellion in the sprawling futuristic metropolis of Neo Tokyo. And the soundtrack, which draws heavily from traditional and Japanese Noi music. But yeah. Anyways, this is me talking about anime movies, and I hope you enjoyed, and I also hope that you found films that you found new anime films, I mean, aside from Studio Ghibli, and I hope that you watch some of them.